Welcome back to Take 5 IRL, a podcast brought to you by Agility IRL. I'm Mike Studeman, one of the partners at Agility IRL, joined today by my other two partners, Pat Campbell and Jeff Lee. Pat and Jeff, how are you?
Doing well,
Doing great.
Mike.
Good to see you.
Good to see you guys. Topic today is Agile outside of software. So I'll start us out and I'll give Jeff the first question. Obviously, it's the Agile Software Development Manifesto, but Jeff, can Agile be used outside of software?
No, just software. No,
Well, this will
just
be a
Thank
short
kidding.
you.
episode. Thanks for joining us, everyone. It's been
Wait,
great.
wait, what? Agile
It,
outside of software? Don't do this to me.
of course it can. It's we've seen it applied, and we've done episodes on hardware. We see it in marketing, we see it in HR, we see in any number of things in your daily lives, right? Drove my kids nuts a little bit, some of the agile things that they were doing when they were living at home, and they're very excited and they haven't moved back now that they're out of school. But um, yeah, I think foundationally, some of the practices change, but the principles hold. Principles like fast feedback cycles, things like having transparency in what's going on, being able to pivot what you're doing with those fast feedback cycles are some of the key things that I see.
Pat, do you share Jeff's opinion?
Absolutely. I've seen it even done in legal, believe it or not, in legal departments. And so really, it's about how you apply principles independent of the work you do, how you apply agile principles, as Jeff was just scrolling through there. And leveraging those as you lay out and plan the system of work, whatever that might be.
So, Jeff, you started articulating a few of those principles. I heard faster feedback. I imagine, trying to iterate.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
um,
take some chances, learn from failures. Yeah.
so run some experiments, maybe, iterate, run experiments, fast feedback. What are some of those other common principles, guys, that you would want our listeners to be aware of?
I think,
Um,
go ahead, Pat.
I was just going to say, short time boxed iterations so that you can get that feedback going on a regular cadence
Mhm.
and that ability to pivot based on that feedback and experimentation uh, always serves well, whether it's a service or a product of some type.
Yeah, I worked with a services-oriented gig economy company that they actually wanted to use Agile in their marketing department. They thought it was is working well for software. They're like, hey, what can we do with that? And so, there was a team that involved photographer, a copywriter, right? These things that are very distinct competencies. And so it wasn't about trying to get everybody to be interchangeable. And in software, we don't go quite to that extreme, but we often try to get people to overlap and work together on the same thing, like to swarm on something. That doesn't work as well in that kind of marketing group. But some of the principles, the short feedback cycles, hey, let's have a retrospective and get everyone involved, not just have the marketing leader make their own observations about what didn't go well, right? So bringing the photographer back in to have a conversation around what can we do better the next round to make this whole thing flow.
So that's
And
another good kind of overarching principle of working as a team and don't get hung up on your specialty. And we see that quite often in software, but it applies, as your example notes, Jeff, outside of software. I think the other principle that I hear in what both of you are saying, and it relates to fast feedback, is make sure that you have customers or users of whatever your product is involved in the process in some way. Don't wait to get the feedback late in the process, and make sure that you're getting feedback from the right people.
yeah, and building on that marketing example, Jeff, there's actually a group that developed a parallel set of values and principles of the application of Agile in marketing. And so in some areas, it's being carried all the way through in a similar fashion of the way it was done with software. Software just happened to be one of the first places this was really tried because it had become so difficult to get product out the door from a software perspective. Now, fortunately, it's spilling over into other areas of work.
Mhm. Yeah, and some of those
So,
things,
yeah, Jeff, go ahead.
sorry, I said they can manifest differently, right? So marketing is a good example where you can get fast feedback on something that's done because it's, it doesn't, sorry, marketing people, it just doesn't take that long to get things from, concept to out the door unless your processes make it take that long. And sometimes there's reasons for that, but we won't get into that. And other times, like with hardware development and some of these other things that take a long time, many months to get something that's actually fully done and ready to be like tested or used, you can still get fast feedback on something that's partially done. Like show me the parts that work, even if they're not final and polished. So again, it's the same concepts, they just manifest differently.
Yeah,
And
so I
once they're
think,
applied, they start to identify opportunities. Sorry, Mike.
go
For
ahead.
example, the concept of digital twins in hardware, where you're completely simulating the hardware product in digital, so that you can get that fast feedback before you can come out with the first prototype. So it's driving new ways of thinking in those areas.
So I was just going to interject. I mean, I want to point out Jeff's taking a huge risk taking shots at marketing people because he's married to one. I think it's important that we put that out there, both for our listeners and for any legal proceedings that might follow once Jen hears this podcast.
You
But
just said a statement that will never come true, but I mean,
yeah,
we know who our audience is for this podcast. I'll just say that.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, let's try to put a bow on this episode. So I think what we're saying is you can use Agile outside of software. Focus on the principles, fast feedback, iteration, customer involvement, and try it out. And you've both given a couple of examples. Marketing, which is an area that we should probably explore more deeply in a future podcast, and of course hardware, which we've addressed in earlier episodes, but may revisit again. Did I miss anything, gentlemen?
I think you covered it, Mike.
We're good.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate everyone joining us for this episode. Continue to tune in for future episodes and don't hesitate to reach out if you need any assistance applying Agile in software or any other domain. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Mike. Stay agile.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Take 5 IRL podcast. If you like it, please go ahead and share it with someone, as well as like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Also, leave us a comment or a suggestion for a future episode. Again, thanks for listening, and we look forward to you joining us next time on the Take 5 IRL podcast.